My brothers and sisters, before we begin, I want you to pause for a moment and breathe. Just breathe. You have carried so many expectations on your shoulders, and expectations from society, from family, from friends, and worst of all, the expectations you placed on yourself. Many of us walk through life believing we are behind, that somehow we have missed the moment, missed the opportunity, missed the window that was meant for us. But let me share something that may shift your entire perspective. You are not late. You are not losing. You are not forgotten. Every single step you have taken, even the ones that felt like detours, even the ones that felt like mistakes, has been part of a journey written with divine precision. The Almighty has never been in a hurry with your life, and He has never been careless with your destiny. You are exactly where you need to be for the next chapter of your growth, your healing, and your elevation. Sometimes the greatest blessing is simply understanding that your timeline is not broken, it is unfolding. And today, I want to remind you of that truth with sincerity and clarity. You are not behind, you are being prepared, you are being carried, and you are far more capable, far more resilient, and far more supported by the Almighty than you realize. So open your heart, set aside the noise of comparison, the burden of rushing, and the fear of falling short. Let's walk through a set of reminders that can help you see your life not through the lens of anxiety, but through the wisdom of faith. Let's begin. One of the biggest mistakes we make is assuming life is a race where everyone starts at the same point, runs at the same speed, and reaches the same milestones together. That is not how life works. You are not supposed to walk the same path as anyone else. You are not meant to have the same timing as anyone else. The Almighty created every soul with a unique journey, a unique story, and a unique pace. When you measure your life with someone else's timeline, you immediately create unnecessary pressure. You look at their marriage, their job, their success, their opportunities, and you tell yourself, I am behind. But behind according to whom? According to a world that celebrates speed but ignores depth. According to a society that only shows results but hides the process. According to people who may look fulfilled on the outside but struggle silently inside. The reality is simple. You have no idea what someone else had to go through to reach where they are, and they have no idea what the Almighty is preparing for you. Some people receive things early, not because they are better or more deserving, but because their test begins early. Their blessing may come packaged with responsibilities, burdens, or challenges that you are not meant to carry right now. And there are things the Almighty has written for you that others will never experience, no matter how much they try. You see, the Almighty knows when your heart is ready. He knows when your character is mature enough to handle what you're asking for. He knows when your situation, your environment, your mindset, and your faith are aligned. Blessings given at the wrong time can become burdens. Opportunities given too early can break you. So when something hasn't arrived for you yet, it's not because you are behind. It might simply be because you are still being shaped into the person who can handle that blessing with gratitude and wisdom. Sometimes you think you're waiting for the blessing, but in reality, the blessing is waiting for you, waiting for your growth, waiting for your clarity, waiting for your heart to heal. Waiting for you to let go of habits or people that would ruin what's coming. Trust His timing more than your impatience. You can rush your own decisions, but you cannot rush His wisdom. And the moment you stop fighting your timeline and start embracing your journey, you will feel a weight lift from your shoulders. You will stop feeling late. You will stop feeling inadequate. You will realize that everything that has happened in your life, every pause, every struggle, every triumph, every delay has been part of a perfectly orchestrated plan that is still unfolding. So remind yourself today, your journey has its own clock, and the one who set that clock has never been wrong. My brothers and sisters, one of the most painful misunderstandings we carry in life is this idea that when something doesn't happen immediately, it means the Almighty has rejected us. We see a closed door and assume it will never open. We see a delay and interpret it as a punishment. But the truth is far more comforting than you think. A delay is not a denial. It is a form of divine protection, divine wisdom, and divine timing. Sometimes the Almighty keeps something away from you because right now, even though you want it, you are not ready for it. And other times it's because the thing itself is not ready for you. You might be asking for a job while that job is going through restructuring. You might be asking for a spouse while that person is still developing qualities that will benefit you later. You might be asking for an opportunity while the path toward that opportunity is being cleared in the background. But because you cannot see the unseen, you assume nothing is happening. Let me remind you, the Almighty's silence is not His absence. You may not see progress, but He may be arranging matters in ways you could never imagine. What looks slow to you may actually be precise. What feels late to you may actually be perfect. Think of it this way. If you plant a seed today, you would not dig it up tomorrow and say, "Why haven't you grown yet?" You understand that growth takes time. You understand that roots need to form before branches appear. But with our own lives, we want results without roots. We want outcomes without preparation. We want blessings without the character that can carry them. A delay gives you something precious, preparation. It strengthens your patience, sharpens your wisdom, and teaches you resilience. It forces you to rely more on the Almighty and less on your own expectations. It teaches you to surrender, not out of weakness, but out of trust. And trust is powerful. Trust removes anxiety. Trust removes comparison. Trust removes the idea that you are falling behind. Because the moment you trust that the Almighty's plan is better than your schedule, you stop panicking over every pause in your life. Sometimes a delay saves you from heartbreak. Sometimes it saves you from people who would harm you. Sometimes it saves you from mistakes you don't have the experience yet to recognize. And sometimes the delay is simply building you, polishing you, shaping your character so that when the blessing finally arrives, it does not destroy you, it elevates you. If you knew the dangers the Almighty protected you from, you would thank Him for every no and every not yet, or can. So the next time you face a delay, don't rush to assume rejection. Tell yourself, the Almighty is preparing something better for me, or He is preparing me for something better. Either way, you are not losing. You are being guided. A delay is not your downfall. It is your redirection. My brothers and sisters, many of us look at our problems and immediately assume they are signs of failure. We see hardship and think, why me? We face obstacles and feel as though the Almighty is pushing us down. But what we often fail to understand is that struggles are not punishments. They are preparations. They are not a sign that the Almighty has abandoned you, but a sign that He is building you. Every single person you admire, every person who is wise, patient, composed, and resilient has gone through something that shaped them. Strength does not appear out of thin air. It is carved into you through experiences that force you to grow. If life were always easy, if everything came smoothly, you would never develop the depth, humility, and wisdom that hardship teaches. Think about it. When do you learn patience? When everything is taking too long? When do you learn resilience? When life pushes you harder than you expected? When do you learn gratitude? When you lose something for a moment and realize how valuable it actually was? When do you learn faith? When you are tested beyond what your plans can handle? You might not like the process, but the process is serving you. The Almighty is preparing you in ways you do not yet understand. Sometimes He strengthens you to handle blessings that are bigger than your current capacity. Sometimes He allows you to experience difficulty so you can recognize the difference between what is good for you and what only looks good from afar. Sometimes He teaches you through loss so you can appreciate gain. Sometimes He teaches you through pain so you can appreciate healing. Not everything you go through is meant to break you. Many things are meant to upgrade you. Imagine a person who wants to build physical strength. They lift weights, but the very act of lifting weights is uncomfortable. It puts stress on their muscles. It creates strain. Yet, without that stress, the muscles never grow. In the same way, the weights of life, your challenges, disappointments, setbacks, uncertainties are strengthening parts of you that comfort alone could never strengthen. You may not see the results today, but the growth is happening internally. The Almighty knows that the challenges you are facing now will equip you for situations you haven't even encountered yet. Some lessons need to be experienced, not just heard. You cannot learn courage from a book. You learn it when life gives you something frightening and you step through it. You cannot learn humility simply by listening to advice. You learn it when you're forced to confront your own limitations. You cannot learn compassion until you've tasted your own share of difficulty. If you have been hurt, you will understand others who are hurting. If you have fallen, you will understand others who fall. If you have struggled, you will understand those who are still struggling. That understanding is a gift. That empathy is a blessing. That depth of character cannot be bought, studied, or copied. It is earned through experience. So when you find yourself asking, why is this happening to me? Consider reframing the question. Instead ask, what is this teaching me? Because every struggle carries a lesson. Every disappointment carries wisdom. Every setback carries a message, and every moment of difficulty carries a seed of growth that will bloom later in ways you cannot foresee. Sometimes the Almighty blocks a path to push you onto a better one. Sometimes He removes something because it was weakening you. Sometimes He closes a door because walking through it would have harmed you. And sometimes He puts you through a challenge because there is a version of you on the other side that is stronger, wiser, calmer, and far more capable than the version standing here today. You are not behind because you are struggling. You are not losing because life feels heavy. You are not forgotten because things aren't working out instantly. You are being prepared. You are being shaped. You are being equipped with qualities that will matter for the rest of your journey. A person who has never struggled may look strong from the outside, but their foundation is weak. A person who has been through hardship may seem tired at times, but their foundation is unshakable. The Almighty is giving you foundations. He is giving you depth. He is giving you the ability to handle blessings with responsibility and trials with faith. So the next time you face difficulty, remember this. Your struggle is not pointless. It is part of a divine training program. You may not enjoy it today, but you will benefit from it tomorrow. And one day, you will look back and say, if I had not gone through that, I would not be who I am today. That is when you will realize that the struggle was never breaking you. It was building you. My brothers and sisters, one of the greatest sources of misery today is not poverty, not difficulty, not illness, not hardship. It is comparison, a silent poison that spreads through the heart the moment you allow your eyes to wander towards someone else's life and use it as a measuring stick for your own. This one habit has stolen more peace from people than financial trouble ever will. It destroys gratitude, blinds your vision, and makes you chase illusions instead of real progress. You may think you are unhappy because you lack something, but often you are unhappy because someone else has it and you don't. That is not poverty. That is comparison. And comparison will make even a wealthy person feel poor. It will make a talented person feel inadequate. It will make a blessed person feel deprived. It turns blessings into complaints and achievements into disappointments. The tragedy today is that we live in a world where everyone is watching each other. Not because they care, but because they are comparing. You look at someone's marriage and suddenly yours looks weak. You look at someone's income and suddenly yours feels too small. You see their success and suddenly your journey feels slow. But my brothers and sisters, you are comparing your reality to their presentation, your inner struggles to their outward appearance, your behind the scenes to their highlight reel. No one posts their tears. No one uploads their arguments. No one shares their private battles. People show you what they want you to see, and then you take that polished version and use it to judge yourself. You forget that even the most perfect looking life carries its own challenges. No one is free from tests. No one is free from pain. No one is living a life of pure comfort. If you really knew what others were going through, you would stop comparing and start thanking the Almighty for what you were saved from. The Almighty created each of us with a unique purpose and unique path. You are not meant to copy someone else's journey. You are meant to follow your own. When you compare, you are essentially telling the Almighty, what you gave me is not enough. I want what you gave them. That mindset does not bring growth. It brings jealousy, envy, and a restless heart. And a restless heart cannot recognize blessings, even when it is surrounded by them. Let me tell you something important. The disease of comparison blinds you to your own gifts. You overlook your strengths because you are too focused on someone else's advantages. You ignore your blessings because you think someone else's blessings are better. But the Almighty gave you exactly what you need for your life. He gave you what suits your temperament, your personality, your future, and your level of responsibility. If you were meant to have what they have, you would have it. And if they were meant to have your blessings, they would have them. The Almighty does not make allocation mistakes. But the real damage of comparison is deeper. It doesn't just affect your emotions. It affects your character. It turns gratitude into entitlement. It turns humility into arrogance. It turns ambition into envy. A person who constantly compares will spend their life chasing shadows, thinking happiness lies in being where others are, doing what others do, or having what others have. But happiness is never found that way. True peace comes when you finally say, what Allah has written for me is perfect for me. I don't want someone else's journey, I want mine. Now some people say, but Mufti, isn't it good to look at others and want to improve? Yes, but there is a difference between inspiration and comparison. Inspiration lifts you, comparison diminishes you. Inspiration says, if they can do it, it means it's possible. Comparison says, if they are ahead, it means I am failing. Inspiration encourages growth. Comparison destroys self-worth. My brothers and sisters, there is something many people do not realize. Every time you compare yourself to others, you are interrupting your own progress. You stop focusing on what you can control and start focusing on what you cannot. You lose precious energy chasing someone else's lane while neglecting your own. Your lane is where your blessings are. Your lane is where your opportunities are. Your lane is where your peace lies. When you leave your lane, you lose your blessing. The Almighty has written different chapters for each of His servants. Someone may be in their chapter 10. You may still be in chapter 2. That doesn't mean you are behind. It means your story is unfolding. But if you compare chapters, you will feel defeated before your story has even begun. Let me take you deeper so you truly understand. Comparison distorts your perception of success. You start believing that success looks like what others have, their job, their wealth, their popularity, their home, their marriage, their opportunities. But success is not a single mold. It is not one shape that everyone must fit into. Success is deeply personal. What is success for someone else may be a burden for you, and what is success for you may be meaningless to them. The Almighty did not design one definition of success for the entire world. He designed one for you, and comparison makes you abandon that unique definition and chase someone else's instead. This is why people feel empty even after achieving things. They were chasing a definition that was never theirs. Your success might be found in raising a family with love. Someone else's success might be in running a business. Someone else's success might be in gaining knowledge. Another person's success might be in helping the community. And someone else's success might simply be in surviving hardship with patience. Success is not measured by speed, quantity, or publicity. Success is measured by sincerity, purpose, and alignment with your divine path. My brothers and sisters, one of the most damaging beliefs we carry today is the idea that success is a race and the fastest person wins. We have allowed society to convince us that speed is everything. We rush, we panic, we push ourselves into exhaustion because we think the person who reaches their goals earliest is somehow better, smarter, or more blessed. But this is a misunderstanding. The Almighty does not judge you by how quickly you arrive. He judges you by how sincerely you walk. Your responsibility is not to outpace the world. Your responsibility is to take consistent steps toward what is right, what is pure, what is beneficial. Do not forget, the Almighty rewards effort, not speed. He rewards intention, not haste. He rewards sincerity, not comparison. Many people reach their goals quickly, but they collapse just as quickly because their foundation was weak. Others move slowly, steadily, patiently, and what they build lasts a lifetime. This world celebrates speed because it is obsessed with results. But Allah celebrates effort because He is concerned with who you become, not just what you acquire. There is a wisdom behind this. If everything came quickly, you would never develop character. If every goal appeared instantly, you would remain shallow. If every prayer was answered immediately, you would never learn patience, trust, or humility. Growth happens through consistent effort, not through rushing. Look at nature. A tree does not grow overnight. A seed is hidden beneath the soil in darkness where no one sees it. But during that hidden time, strength is being formed, roots are spreading, foundation is building. If the tree appeared instantly without roots, the first wind would blow it away. The same applies to you. If you rise too quickly without building your foundations, your faith, your discipline, your gratitude. You may appear strong, but the first difficulty will expose your weakness. Some people are so desperate to arrive that they neglect the process that builds them. They want the title before the training. They want the blessing before the preparation. They want the achievement before the character. But the Almighty knows what you cannot see. A blessing given too early can harm you more than a blessing given late. You may think you are ready, but Allah knows when you are truly ready. This is why effort matters more than speed. Effort shapes you. Effort purifies you. Effort teaches you who you are and who you are not. Effort makes you capable of receiving the blessings you once prayed for. My brothers and sisters, the world today has conditioned us to live in constant comparison. We look at how fast someone else graduated, how fast someone else built a business, how fast someone else got married, how fast someone else accumulated wealth, and we assume we are failing. But every person is running a different race. Every person has a different starting line, different obstacles, different strengths, and different weaknesses. Comparing your speed to theirs is like comparing a ship